Hello, good morning, and welcome to the AHP live show at Health Careers Live. My name is Carrie Biddle, and I am delighted to welcome you back for day 2 of the conference, where today we are focusing on career development and career pathways for those that are in our workforce and thinking about where they can go next and what that might look like for them. So I'm delighted we've got George back with us today. Hi, George.
Hi, Carrie. How are you this morning?
Really well, thank you.
Yeah, as Carrie said, thank you all for joining us this morning for the current side of our conference. So we're going to be looking at all things career development, CPD, and trying to make the most out of our careers in healthcare and in the allied health professions in particular. We're looking at a fantastic setup today. Obviously, in light of recent events, our approach to the conference has changed slightly. So we're going to have a hybrid mix of live sessions and pre-records. But either way, the same great content's being provided by our speakers, and we're really hoping it'll be an informative and interesting day. So, in terms of the first session, we've got some of our fantastic allied health professionals talking about their career development and career pathways within the allied health professions. So AHP Career Conversations will take place between 10 and 10:45. And if you're happy, Carrie, we'll get cracking and let them introduce themselves.
Brilliant. Thanks, George. Yep, we will get moving this morning. So as you say, due to changes of dates, unfortunately, we've lost one of our panel members, Naaman, that was going to be with us this morning. But I am delighted that the remaining AHP career ambassadors are here with us today. So we're going to introduce you to them. So I'm going to start with Sue.
Hello, my name is Sue. I'm a semi-retired occupational therapist. I am very social media active and I run a blog as well. I'm retired AHPs on Twitter. I also do long arm supervision for delivering CPAP, or I am about to start doing that. And I'm also doing a lot of volunteering with very much a sort of social justice bent and emphasis on healthy occupations.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to come around to Justine, please.
Hello, my name is Justine. I am a qualified physiotherapist. I trained in Uganda. I currently work as a care home clinical lead, so I support care homes to support their residents not to keep going into hospital. And I work as part of a team. I have worked in different areas in the in A&E, in community rehab, in admission avoidance, and it's been a great journey. So it's great to be here. I'm also involved in the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy. I'm a member of the Equality, Diversity, Inclusion Committee, and also I'm the East of England regional representative for Agile, which is the network for physiotherapists who work with older people, and many other things. So we'll be talking a bit more later. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Justine. This is going to be one of the best panels. I know it is, because we've got some wonderful, rich experiences and people that have really taken their career by the horns and driven it, really. So I'm fantastic to meet you and have you with us on the stage, Justine. I'm going to come across now to Neely, please.
Hi, I'm Neely. I'm a specialist diabetes podiatrist and founder of the No Hungry staff campaign, which looks at providing NHS staff with 24/7 food out of hours and during weekend shifts. I also have a background in surgery and biomechanics, and I also am the founder of a small baking group called Baking Medics, which we all meet up nationally and have baking treats. So yeah.
Sounds wonderful. I think there may be a new home for me in Baking Medics. I get very excited each year the Bake Off comes around. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Neely. And Loretta, I'm going to come over to you next.
Thank you, Carrie. Hello, everyone. My name is Loretta Achiekwelu, and I'm the project manager working with Health Education England on the National AHP Support Workforce Programme. Before this role, I was a business manager in an acute trust in North West London, leading on various projects for HR, finance and operations. Coming from a non-clinical background, I discovered the wonderful world of AHPs, and I jumped at the opportunity to support the provision of national leadership to recognise, develop and to expand the non-registered AHP support workforce.
Thank you, Loretta. And it's really, well, I'm really pleased that you are here with us today, because our AHP community is more than just our clinicians. It does involve admin support services, as well as our support workers, our clinical academics and researchers, our innovators, our entrepreneurs. So it's a whole range of different people that are within our AHP community. So I'm really pleased that you are here to represent some of those for us today. So thank you for joining. And Rachael.
Hi everybody, I'm Rachael Brandreth, and I'm an allied health professional, and that's why I'm here today. And I'm a dietitian by registration. I work clinically as a paediatric dietitian, so with children, young people and their families. And I've got the strong skill set that my training and experience in the NHS and beyond really has given me. That's kind of really opened up the world of opportunities for me, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, hopefully. I now work 1 day a week as clinical lead for children and young people living with severe obesity, and that's with NHS England. And I work 2 days a week for Health Education England for the Faculty of Advancing Practice in the Southwest. And my focus is on the AHP's dietitians, podiatrists, occupational therapists and speech and language therapists. And I'm really passionate about improving the health and wellbeing of our communities, and also that of the health and wellbeing of the people who deliver our health and care services. So it's really brilliant to be here with these great people today.
Lovely. Thank you, Rachael. And so I suppose, George, come on, round us off. Tell us a bit about yourself. You're a key member of our AHP family here at Health Careers Live.
I was just going to say, what a fantastic variety we've got. Obviously, I'm a paramedic. We've got people with surgical backgrounds, you know, from care homes to all sorts of different things. And I think we're really lucky in the allied health professions to have such variety and rich experience sort of under one umbrella team. Yeah, it's great to have you all here this morning, and thank you all for giving up your time to hopefully share some experience and improve other people's career options.
Great. Thank you so much. So, as I said, my name is Carrie Biddle. I am a speech and language therapist by profession, another one of our 15 professions within the allied health profession family. And I work in the Southwest as the regional head of allied health professions for Health Education England. And I will be our chair to take us through the session this morning. So let's start with some questions. So Neely, I'm going to come to you first, if that's okay. So you, like a number of our panel members, have got lots of things going on in your professional life. And it appears that you really do throw your whole self in. So you've got things that are around your interests, things that are important to you at work, and your kind of clinical skills that drive where you spend your time. So could you share a bit more with us about some of the actions you have taken that have helped you shape your career?
Sure. So I'm quite used to throwing myself into everything, like you rightly said. So I don't like, I think it's from when I was younger, I used to be very stubborn. I didn't like the word no. So that's just followed me on as I got older. So I always try and find a way to do things as if I want to go down a certain route. So I remember when I struggled quite hard with getting a surgical placement. It's very much about who you know and who like, she's kind of like networking. So what I did was I emailed every single orthopedic and pediatric surgeon about a 2-hour travel radius from my house. So I think I sent over like 100 emails to everybody, and I only got one response back. So, and that's where I started my surgical placement in Northampton. And I guess that's followed me on with, the campaign as well. When I found out everybody was starving on a 12-hour, 13-hour shift during out of hours, I didn't hesitate at all to start a campaign. It's all about, I feel really strongly about how people are treated. I feel like we're all human beings and we should be treated with respect and kindness, and everyone, you know, we've all got professional lives, but we also have personal lives as well. That's someone's daughter, mother, sister, etc. So we need to treat everyone. I'm really strong about. I'm so passionate about well-being. And since the campaign started, 9 months in, we've now mandated 24/7 in Parliament. So every NHS trust has to have 24/7 food provisions in place nationally. So it's a huge achievement, which everyone has done, not just me, the whole team, and, you know, Phil Shelley in NHS England. So I'm very proud of that.
Brilliant. Thank you, Neely. And I think what you share there is that your career and your development doesn't necessarily just have to be through your profession and the lens that you see in a day-to-day clinical sense. Actually, you can use what matters to you to drive, and those skills that we do have to share with our patients about people first and being there to support people. We need those for our staff as well. So you are showing how you are a person first and foremost, and we need to look after all our NHS people as well as the people that we are there to support in our communities. So you can be wide in how you get your career experience and development. It doesn't just have to be through that clinical delivery route. So thank you so much. And what a massive achievement. I think on behalf of the whole NHS, I feel like we want to give you a big thank you for the food that's going to be there for people. So yeah, a big round of applause for you, Neely. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very much a huge advocate of, you know, I think when we grow up, everyone's like, what do you want to be? And they're like, right, you want to be a doctor or a teacher or a podiatrist, and that's it for the rest of your life till you retire. And actually, there's so much more you can do. And you're right, I do use my passions and things I'm interested in, and, you know, do things out of, you know, so basically the campaign, I've been doing it during lunch hours, out of work, you know, late evenings, weekends, etc. So you have to be really passionate about doing things you are doing, because then you're not going to get burnt out. You see it as enjoyment and helping others. And yeah, that's what I try and encourage everyone to, you know, look at other things you're interested in, because I really think I'm that sort of person where I can't just do one thing anyway. I get very bored, so I have to put my fingers in many pies. So yeah, thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome. Thank you for that. So I think leading on from that then, Rachel, if I come to you, you know, what that is to you when it comes to having a fulfilling work life, because you all seem to have so much going on. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
So I guess I believe that like really small changes can have a really big impact down the line. So I kind of try and incorporate those into my clinical and my leadership practice, and I guess my everyday life as well. And so that's kind of led me to all sorts of exciting things. So well, actually, next week it's AHP's Day, and I'm proud to have co-founded that a few years ago now with the wonderful Carrie. And it's now celebrated annually around the world, and it gives people a place to or a space to celebrate, appreciate, inspire, and connect. And I'm just so proud, and it gives me such a warm feeling inside when I see all the different things that people are sharing about what they're doing on AHP's Day to kind of really celebrate their identity and get the message out there of how wonderful it is about being an allied health professional. And I think other things that really picking up on the sort of thread there that Neely was talking about. So things that I've done in the past around other sort of social campaigns, like the junk-free checkouts. We successfully campaigned and lobbied, resulting in many major supermarkets now removing unhealthy snacks from their checkouts. I think we did that about 10 or maybe, yeah, about 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago. And a lot of the checkouts are still junk-free. So we had quite a good impact there. And then other kind of opportunities, I think, like Neely said, you're just seeking out those different things where your passion lies. So that's taken me to things like I sat on an all-party parliamentary group for a fit and healthy childhood, and I got to have afternoon tea at the House of Lords, and they cut the crusts off the sandwiches. I don't think I've ever been anywhere where I was served my little finger sandwiches with the crust cut off. It was exciting. I think it's really important as well to think about, like you were saying, about the whole person. And so I just like to say that I've got dyslexia, and I feel that that's actually been an asset to me. And I think if you're a young person out there, that's a really, never let those sorts of differences be a barrier to you, because when you're you can bring a real richness to the conversation. And I believe that it's really helped me think differently to the crowd. And it gives me great problem solving skills and lateral thinking ability. So once I embraced it, and I really feel like it's helped me get to where I am today. So I think embracing all of your differences is a real superpower for you. And once I was actually told I couldn't go to university because I didn't enjoy reading as a teenager. So I think my call to you is to say, actually, if somebody's got a bit of a more narrow-minded view, put that and wants to put you in a box, you need to believe in yourself, follow your dreams. I was always a person that really needed to understand something and ask those questions. And I think that's true now. And I think by, really being able to channel that into like a real positivity, that allows me to kind of really contribute. And I believe that that's going to make a difference to our future NHS.
Thank you, Rachel. I've just scribbled. I've grabbed my pen. Don't let anyone put you in the box. It's like no one put baby in the corner, isn't it? You are in control of your career and your choices and where you go. It's not about what a manager might think might be the right next step or what they might be able to offer you. You can decide where you go and how you explore your career. So I think that's fantastic. And, it's the little things like the sandwiches without the crusts on. I've written that down as well. Next time I'm going to make the sandwiches with no crusts when I see you. But thank you, because look at the places and the people that you get to meet. How wonderful is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just when you start out, you think that you're going, you're making a career choice, but actually it's just opening another gate, another door, and there's like a massive field out there to run around.
Excellent. Thank you. So you've both so far, Neely and Rachel, there's been, we've talked about time and how you spend your time and what that looks like. And actually, Neely, you made that really important comment around it needs to be something you love, because some of these things do require discretionary effort and you putting extra time in beyond your 9-to-5 job for you to get the benefit out for you. And we see that with CPD, people saying, well, should I be doing it in work? Should I be doing it out of work? You should have the time and space, and this is your own professional development, to do it in both of those places. So Loretta, I'm going to come to you because we do talk about time a lot. And when we're thinking about it in the career sense, we think, is it too soon? Have I left it too late to start a career or to change my career? I wonder what your thoughts were on that from your own experience and that you've seen through the programme that you're working on.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. In my opinion, I believe it's never too late for career development. I don't think anyone is too old to develop themselves at all. There's always something new you can learn. And if you're motivated and passionate enough about what you do, you can do it. I believe that career development can start when someone is quite young, and just learning about different ways to make a living is part of human development, and the process can last your whole lifetime. So, for example, when a child notices that some people are occupational therapists, paramedics, or nurses, it signals the start of this process. It continues on through primary school as they begin to explore occupations, and later on in adulthood as well, as people ultimately decide what career to pursue. So in my opinion, career development doesn't end after you choose a career. You should then get the required education and training and ultimately advance in your career if you choose to. And for most people, it also includes changing careers, as Neely mentioned earlier. You don't have to stick to that career. You can always change jobs at least once, probably more often, like I have before during working lives. So becoming part of the AHP support workforce is a great start if you have an interest in healthcare, or if you currently are an AHP support part of the AHP support workforce. You can undergo various apprenticeships, and if apprenticeships are not the route for you to go, then there are other routes that you can discover and explore as well. So it's not just closed, it's open. There's no one set way for you to develop yourself. So, which is what the National AHP Support Workforce Programme is all about. It's about developing, recognising and expanding you as an individual to achieve your career aspect and your career goals. So personally for me, although I've achieved more than I expected in my career, I am pleased to say that I'm undergoing a level 4 associate project manager apprenticeship. Although I'm a project manager already, doesn't really make sense, but I believe I still require lots of learning, and there's lots to learn, and my final exam is next month in November, so wish me luck.
Amazing. Thank you, Loretta. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I think that is important, that we do need to take responsibility for what we're doing. And actually, it is about those stepping stones that may lead to something else, or maybe just enable us to be at our best in the role that we're in. So, but that's personal drive, isn't it? You've got to be motivated and want to do it for yourself as much as anything else. And the time you put in is time well invested that will see you forward. So really, really thank you for sharing that with us. So Sue, I'm going to come to you. You have enjoyed, and I know you've enjoyed a full and wonderful career. I've listened to the podcast. It's available in our virtual booth that Sue features in around your career. So I'm really interested to speak to you about what would be your advice for people in this space.
Thanks, Carrie. I think the one thing that has really stuck with me through my career is that nobody else shapes your career but yourself. Obviously, opportunities are put before you, but actually they might not be the opportunities that you want to follow. So really do make sure that it's a route that you are happy and content to go down. And often the opportunities aren't necessarily those that face you within your career. They might be an opportunity that comes to you from your own personal life, and particularly if you're moving areas or moving jobs away from an area of familiarity, then the trick is to actually say, well, okay, this might not be quite the route I wanted to go career-wise, but make the most of it and actually seize those opportunities and take them on to a point where you feel content and happy with the way that you're going. And I think for me, actually, every opportunity is a learning opportunity, and that was something that I was very clear on with my support workers as well. And I'm absolutely delighted that two of my support workers, one has gone on to do her BSCOT and another one is currently doing that. And I feel really privileged that they've seen me as a mentor and actually found the professions to be something that they really want to take forward. I'm really chuffed with that as well. So I think that's really what I would say. And even with me being I'm not quite completely grey-haired, but I come very much from a time when occupational therapy wasn't so well known or didn't have the kudos or the face that it currently has. I'm just delighted to see that the skills that I have and my peers have that trained with me are now being utilised in promoting legacy skills, and I find that fascinating, particularly at times now where we've got people looking to return to practice, and also people that are valuing the experience that we have to support them in developing their careers.
Thank you, Sue. I think the thing you say there that really resonates with me is that piece around, we are not just a bunch of professionals. We are a community. We are an AHP family, and it matters to us. And just like with our own family, when you want to have things that get left and you can support and invested and you see carried through the next generation, it's the same with our workforce. We spend more time at work than we do at home. So it's an important and big part of our lives. So feeling that you can give back and you are leaving a positive legacy is such an important part, I think. So, and there's lots happening in that space, like you say. So it is being recognised and a real important bit to reinvest back to nurture and develop our future workforce coming through. So thank you for that. I'm going to come to Justine next. So Justine, you are a care home clinical lead. So working out in the community, what opportunities do you see that you can support career development for those potentially in like your team and the staff around you? What does that look like for you in your setting?
So working as a care home clinical lead is sort of a senior post. And obviously, I started off as a physiotherapist. So to progress into more senior posts, one needs to first do the training to become an AHP, whatever you've chosen to do. So for people to train to become an AHP or an allied healthcare professional like myself, I'm a physiotherapist. There is direct entry into university. So you can just apply to the university, and there's different support available if you can check on the NHS Careers website. Also, for those who are already working in the NHS or in different areas as rehab support workers, you can take on an apprenticeship where you would be you'd continue to work as a support worker or a rehab assistant while you're doing your studies. So those are some of the ways you can get into that. Or even if you're not yet working as a support worker or rehab assistant, you can still apply for those jobs and then later on get onto the training to become a qualified physiotherapist or any of the other AHP professions. So for those of us who are already working, there are different areas to go into to become a specialist. So like myself, I'm now, my specialism is more around community physiotherapy, older people rehabilitation, and frailty. And that's how come I'm working with the care homes. But there are other pathways, other areas like community neurological rehabilitation. There's community respiratory or pulmonary rehabilitation. So that's supporting people who have breathing problems and helping them learn how to cope with their conditions, or give them exercises to help them improve. So then there are other areas like unplanned care where you get people referred in and they sort of need to be seen immediately. So there's admission avoidance, discharge home to assess, where people get discharged to their homes a little bit earlier than what we used to do. And then they get their therapy input or any other input they might need from home. They can be seen by their GPs as well. So, and some of these areas I've worked in them. I've also done falls prevention. So where you support people who've had falls, you exercises with them, look at their environment, and I've loved working in the community. I've loved most of all of my roles because I get to look at the patient as a whole. There's an element of holistic care. So you're looking at the environment, you're looking at the support they have. Is it family? Do they need carers? Do they need to move to a care home? So it's very rich and rewarding. Also, another thing that I think helps for people to think about is your personality. So there's a time I was talking to someone and I told them that my personality, I'm a bit calm. I can't do too much pressure in one go. So I love community because I can spend time talking to someone, then they can tell me about what's going on around them, and we can sort of think about all the things together. However, in an area, so within physiotherapy, one of the areas is musculoskeletal physiotherapy or MSK. And there they have a bit more of a tight schedule, and you go in and they look at that specific thing and they might talk to you about a few other things, but for them, it's a bit more tight and fast. So if your personality is you want to be on the go, let's go, then you could you have that option to try different things and then decide what you want to do. I think then in terms of further career development, you can do more studies, do another degree, do a master's degree, do a PhD if you want. So personally, I have a master's in exercise nutrition and exercise and nutrition science. I also have a master's in public health. So it's very I get to incorporate all this knowledge I have gained into my role. And I also started a school in Uganda and we have close to 100 children. It's a nursery and primary school, nothing necessarily to do with with physiotherapy, but it's to tackle health inequalities, give children a good start in life. So I have learned, I've gained leadership skills from doing that. I have a team of about 17 teachers and non-teaching staff, and I bring all those skills to my NHS job. But again, also within my NHS job, I use some of those skills from in the school. So someone might say, oh, I have my personal interest. This is what I'm interested in. And you might think you can't do both, but I think you can do both, and both will complement each other, although they might seem like they're totally different. So yeah, so those are some of the things you can do to progress your career.
Amazing. Did everyone just hear Justine just drop in that she started a school in Uganda? Just, you know, as a bit of a side hack, just because she's got a thing for health, just because I happen to have a thing for health inequalities, and I thought, well, how can I use my skills?
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal. So again, that's that bit around giving back, isn't it? What do I have? What are my gifts? What are my strengths? Where can I use them? Both within what I do within my job and within my local community and those that I serve through my job and my day job, but also what can I do more widely, and how the experiences and the opportunities that you can see that go way beyond what you might see in your day-to-day work. So that was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you. And as you say, you can layer, you can build. That this goes back to Loretta's point. This is lifelong learning, isn't it? Continuous development, continuous improvement. And you can go in different directions with it. There's not this old, I talk a lot about this, the traditional career ladder where you've got to wait, you can bang your head on the next rung and you can either go one step up or you might feel you're going to be stood there for ages. We talk about squiggly careers now. You don't need that. You can go wherever you like and follow whatever adventure squiggle you fancy, and it will bring you out at a different place with more skills, more experiences, and you'll find out what you like. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So coming on to that then, Rachel, I'm going to come back to you about following dreams. And people here clearly have got some great aspirations. They know what they believe in. They follow what's important to them. But what about those people that stand there, I often say, like on the mountain in the fog, and say, I don't know where to go. I don't know where my career is going to take me. What would you say in that sense?
So I think it's about being able to just be brave and take that first step, and not worrying about whether it's the right step, because every step takes you into a position of learning. It's whether it's a learning like in the traditional sense, like an academic sense, or whether it's a learning in you learn something more about yourself. And it might be that you think, oh, no, I don't want to do this forever. So when I was a tour guide, we also had to do lots of different duties. And one of those was cutting up peppers and frying chips. And I learned that I definitely didn't want to fry chips because I could never get that smell out of my hair. But I learned a really useful skill, which is how to cut up a pepper without with getting the seeds out in a really useful way. Anyway, that was way before I learned, before I went and trained as a dietitian. But it's a skill I use really regularly on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Rachel. So in a moment, I'm going to come round and ask our panel for some top tips. But before that, I'm conscious that George is with us. And George has just started out on his career. So he registered last year and he's in his preceptorship period. So George, I'd like to come to you if there's any golden nuggets or things that have resonated with you from things you've heard this morning from our panel.
Well, trying to remember it all is a challenge in itself. I mean, the experience that everyone's got is incredible. Even just Justine speaking about her experiences there is absolutely phenomenal. I was fortunate enough to spend a little bit of time in Uganda myself, and think there's an awful lot to be said about sharing experiences, you know, internationally. Ultimately, as Justine said, it's a holistic approach to the patient, and we're all there in varying degrees for the same patients. Which is absolutely fantastic. And it's interesting the different routes you've all taken to get to your careers. For me as a paramedic, I took a direct university route into the profession, but we certainly have emergency care assistants, emergency medical technicians who can train to become paramedics internally through the ambulance service. And I'm sure it's similar in your professions, where actually there's so many different ways to become an allied health professional. And as Justine said, she appreciates her work because she's able to sort of slow down and take that thorough approach to the people she's working with and really get to know what they want. And equally for me as a paramedic, quite often we're doing that, but then we also occasionally have the faster pace. And I think within the allied health professions, there's something to suit everybody. You might not have been particularly, top of the class at school, but you might have been an absolute A-star student all the way through. And wherever you sat as a child, it doesn't have to dictate the rest of your career. And I think that's something that's really coming through to me, is that wherever you go and whichever route you take, it doesn't have to be a linear line from point A to point B. You can go via the rest of the alphabet on the way, obviously not from A to B, but you really can take a fluid route through your career. It's just fantastic to see such rich experiences that are then benefiting the people that we work with.
Well, George, we've got space for you on the squiggly mystery tour bus. You can hop on. We like buses. So come with us. You don't know where you may end up. But thank you for that, because that's what's really important, is you've got to think of this not just through your work lens. You need to think of your career through your whole person self. We've talked about not just patients, people, and it's the same for us, isn't it? We need to reflect that back in how we are. So I'm going to come round and do a quick round of the table to see if anybody's got any other top tips that they would like to share. So Sue, I'm going to come to you first.
Sorry. Okay. Hi. Thanks, Carrie. What I would say is, don't limit yourself. See opportunities in the smallest things, and actually you are your best advocate. You are the person that can take things forward. And I think for me, I've looked for strategic directions, both within my profession, within my career, and outside of my career, and followed those very much as a way of taking my career forward. And also find a mentor. It might be that person can actually give you support which you're not expecting, and actually push you in a direction that you're not expecting, but can see the value in you and the value in the skills that you have.
Great, thank you. Brilliant top tips there. Loretta, I'll come down to you next.
Thank you, Carrie. I think one of my main top tips is to keep going. Even if you're afraid, do it afraid anyway. Just don't stop and just keep going. And even if in your mind you failed, keep going, try again, and there's no one stopping you.
Yeah, face the fear and do it anyway. Yes, brilliant. Thank you. Neely.
My top tip is don't take no for an answer. Make your own, try and get experiences everywhere. And if you can't get an experience, make your own experience and do something different, But I remember when I first started as a graduate and I wanted to get into surgery, and I asked one of the surgeons in my trust if I could get work experience with him. I actually got told off by my manager about going to ask for help from another surgeon. And that really, I think that took me a step back, because for 2 years, I got scared of asking anyone for, experience, or I felt like I did something really bad. And then I was just being myself, and I decided to say, no, I think I'm doing the right thing and get experience where I wanted to. And then I realized actually I didn't do anything wrong at all. So yes, I guess some people's experiences are different. But yeah, don't take no for an answer. Keep doing it. There's nothing wrong with asking for help or asking for experiences. So, don't feel like you're doing anything wrong, and don't be scared, because everyone's here to help. And if someone doesn't want to help you, you can find it somewhere else. So yeah, that's my top tip.
Great, thank you. I was waiting for you can go your own way. We had this the other day. Fleetwood Mac, cue Fleetwood Mac music. It's so true. It is so true. You can go your own way, and you should. Reaching out for help and support is those people that are going to give it you will give it you in bucket loads because they've had it themselves. So I would say pass it forwards as well. If people have given you support, pass that courtesy forward and give other people the space to come and shadow, to spend some time, to have a coaching conversation, to give them some mentoring time. Those are really good suggestions. Thank you. Justine.
Yes, I could talk till tomorrow, but I'll just choose one or two. So top tips. One is try everything once. Someone once told me that. Try everything once. So if you're afraid, you don't know what to do, just try something, and then you will get to find out whether it's something you like or you don't. Yeah, but if you don't try, then you're just going to stay in that state of not being sure of what to do. So try everything once. Secondly, I would encourage us to talk about our dreams. So talk about the thing you really wish to do, even if it's travel. Because like for me to become a care home clinical lead, I had told my manager that I wanted to progress to the next level in my career. And I had sort of mentioned the path I wanted to take. And when this role came up, she came straight to me and she's like, "Oh, I've heard about this role. I think you should apply." I applied and I then got it. So talk to people about the things you want to do. Also for the school, I was at university at the time doing my master's in public health at the University of Warwick. And I was talking to this friend who was doing his PhD that I want to start a school. And he said, "Oh, I've started a school before in my country." I'm like, "Are you real?" And so in the end, I paid for his air ticket and he went. I was working here at the time. So he went over and helped recruit and decorate the place and everything. So talk about your dream. And then lastly, volunteer. This is in line with trying everything once. So if you volunteer, then you get to know if that's something you want to do. So have a go. And in volunteering, you get to grow your leadership skills, your confidence. Like I had said, I am East of England region representative for Agile, which is the network for physios working with older people. And I have learned so much in doing that. And also I've got to meet so many amazing people within our profession. And this is how I even came to be on this talk, because someone saw me on Twitter and they were like, "Yeah, we have this, do you want to come and speak?" So volunteer, be willing, try things out. And like one of us said, should it be in your time or in work time or in your time? It doesn't matter. It will cost you a bit, but then the benefits are a lot more. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Justine. And Rachel, I'll come around to you.
So I think it's, don't worry about not having a well-crafted plan. So I certainly haven't. I'd never heard of a dietitian when I went to uni. I started off just thinking, like, where were my strengths? So I went and did a biomedical science degree, and it was an absolute chance conversation, and then followed by some really great work experience that opened up my eyes. And since then I've done all sorts of different roles that don't sit like in the usual career path, and I'm so glad that I've taken those chances. Like make that side step, and then so it just like it allows you to broaden your skill set and kind of pursue that interest, as well as being able to cut a pepper more effectively. And yeah, I think that being brave, stepping into those unknown spaces and not knowing where the journey is going to take me has been so valuable. I guess my first bit of advice is it's great to have a plan, but don't get too wedded to it. It's important to really enjoy the journey and not focus too much on, and don't worry about that kind of destination changing. I think secondly, for me, it's really important to understand what your core values are and base your decisions around those. So for example, a few of mine are being authentic, curious, responsible, and coupling that with creative optimism and that kind of systems, that lateral thinking I spoke about earlier. And really, I aim to enable people to be the best version of themselves. And so for me, I want to have a career that I can have those exciting thoughts about when I'm not there, a career where I feel connected and that I'm making a difference. So 18 years ago, I started working for the NHS as a dietetic assistant. And my aim then was just to save some money so I could go travelling. And I still get that kind of buzz now that, you know, I'm here for a reason. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm here and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, have a go.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rachel. I can't tell you how wonderful this conversation's been. I've made loads of notes. So, you know, there's so many things that I'm going to take away from today about, you know, what does this mean to you? Think about your whole self, enjoying the learning and taking all those experiences. They're not all going to be positive, but you will learn something from it, and actually will help you figure out what you do want to do and what you don't want to do potentially. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Make friends with people, network with people. I know I've met most of these people here through the wonders of Twitter. We do love our Twitter AHP. So it's a wonderful professional networking tool to get involved with people. Offer your time generously, whether that be to support someone else, to volunteer. Love the volunteering aspect. Gives you an opportunity to try before you buy something potentially in that respect, doesn't it? In terms of a place or space to be in. Shadowing, similar to that. Go and walk alongside someone else in that role to see what it's like and what a day in the life of might look like for them. So I would like to thank you all for joining us this morning on this panel. Rachel alluded that we're heading very close to AHP Day now. So next Friday, Friday the 14th, is AHP Day. So it's an opportunity for you to inspire others and to share what you love about your job, what benefit it is for you, how you make a difference, why others may want to come and join our wonderful AHP community. So please do feel to get involved next Friday. We will be there and celebrating amongst many others. So I'd like to thank you all for being here this Saturday morning and wish you all a very lovely day. We will finish this session here and we'll be back shortly with our next session. Thank you, everybody.